Welcome back to the We Needy Roads podcast. And yes, it feels like it's been a long while. And today I'm joined by my two fellow space cadets, Jose and Marie. Now, first, Jose, what were your expectations for this show going in?
To be honest, I didn't have any expectations. I was like, okay, a Star Trek show. I've had fun with Strange New Worlds, so I'll probably have fun with this. And that's as far as it went. I was like, I didn't know the cast. I didn't know really anything beyond the whole idea. It was an Academy show. I didn't even see the trailer, so I went in completely blind.
And Marie, is the only reason you watch this show is that I badgered you for months telling you how gay the show was and with the promise of heated Klingonry.
Yeah, and you overhyped it so much. The show isn't gay at all. I am kind of pissed a bit. Yeah.
I know, right, so we're going to get into that in the good, the bad, and the what the fuck, but I have my rejoinder to that, which I will have later. So you can have your little rant about that, and I
How
will,
not gay it was.
How
and I will
not
have my
gay it was.
counterpoint.
Like
I
I
will
was
have my,
you really overhyped it. I mean, I thought the main love story would be queer. It wasn't. It was straight, and I mean, technically not straight because she was an alien, but still it was
oh yeah, there's a lot of good
meh.
interspecies action going on.
Um,
But
which
Lots
which
of
is which to my
interspecies.
argument that Star Trek was always gay, but no, like overall expectations, yeah, you really overhyped it. I'm a very casual Star Trek fan. My experience with Star Trek is that I saw the Pine movies. They're like my guilty pleasure. I really do like them. Out of the original series, I think Wrath of Khan is the only one I've actually seen.
Khan!
Khan. Then
Sticker.
there and then I saw season 1 of Discovery before I tapped out because it was absolute shit. And then Lower Decks, which I absolutely adore.
I was a bit apprehensive about it after seeing the Dawson's Creek looking poster, which is a crime against posters. Just, it's
Yes.
so bad. It screamed 2000 CW teen drama. And I really wondered how that was going to fit with a new Trek show because they're obviously trying to appeal to younger fans, right? And they're also trying to celebrate everything Trek in its 60th year. So already you're trying to service two completely different audiences. So I was a bit like, I'm not too sure on this. Is it going to be good? But first, some background before we get into good, the bad, and the what the fuck. The show is set in the 32nd century. So this is the furthest forward in the Star Trek timeline. And Starfleet is basically trying to rebuild after the chaos of the burn. Now, the burn was this big universe shattering event that happened in Star Trek Discovery, so most of us didn't see it or cared about it.
Okay, good. Because I was like, was I supposed to know about this? I was
No,
like,
same. I
yeah.
had to Google it, dude. I had to Google it. But basically, the idea is 100 years on, the Federation has finally reopened Starfleet. And instead of the polished future officers you're used to seeing, this is almost like Star Trek First Class. It's a weird mix of like survivors, strays, and people who grew up in a fractured galaxy, including our lead cadet, Caleb Meir, former street kid who only signs up because Holly Hunter's Chancellor Ake promises to help him find his mother. Of course, she's the one who sent his mother to prison back in the day and separated them, so she obviously feels a little bit guilty about it. But, Caleb is our lead, but like all the best Trek, as the episodes go on, most of the characters get fleshed out and they all get their moments to shine. So let's punch it and get into the good, the bad, and the what the fuck moments from Starfleet Academy Season 1. So, as I mentioned, yes, this is set after the burn. And after the burn, the universe is a much more fraught place. There's much more danger. Once solid alliances between planets have crumbled. And basically, the burn was dilithium, which is this element they use for warp travel, became unstable because of more backstory here than I ever want to get into. But essentially, using anything dilithium, it went boom. And billions of people died, mostly members of the Federation.
Wow.
This meant many planets and civilizations were suddenly cut off because warp travel was no longer possible and previous alliances crumbled. And this also led to a rise in, well, basically space crime and local warlords. Now, this is important because it meant the once mighty Federation is now this loose coalition of a hell of a lot less planets, and the hierarchy of power in the Star Trek universe is forever changed. Like, the Klingons are now basically intergalactic refugees, and criminals like Paul Giamatti's Nusbracker run large swathes of space. It's almost like a Wild West in that nowhere really feels safe in this show, except the Academy. And a large through line of the season for me is about the Federation trying to, rebuild and mend former relationships like those with the planet Beta Z. So, Jose, now, having watched it, what was your initial non-spoiler impression of the show?
Of television shows that I don't watch, it involves teenage drama. So the last time I've ever seen anything close to that was probably One Tree Hill and Dawson's Creek. That's
How to run away!
Oh, R.I.P. Dawson.
James Vanderbeek.
There we go. But that's really not my demographic of shows. Like, I know Gossip Girls were really a lot more recent. I don't think it's even recent anymore. But in terms of that,
Well, there was a reboot, Jose, of Gossip Girl.
It was a reboot. It's that far back. Okay. But yeah, so this is really out of my realm. Like, I grew up actually, if you want to date myself, if I want to date myself, I grew up with 90210. So
Well, you couldn't. It'd be weird.
Ba-bum. So 90210 is probably the best reference for a show that was similar to this, where it was teen drama and angst and growing up and learning. And so this is what I would refer to as like classic young angst and drama. And it took me a while to warm up to the characters. That's really just the biggest thing. The first 2 episodes were really bad in my opinion, but they set up a good enough amount of people to where, yes, the character development really followed through.
And Marie.
Unlike Jose, teen drama is my bread and butter. So I do watch a lot of it. And like, as you said earlier, Neil, this did kind of feel like a CW show, not gonna lie. To be honest, I think there could have been more teen drama. I wished we would have spent more time in Starfleet Academy and learning what Starfleet Academy actually is. They kind of operated under the assumption that we kind of already knew how the school worked, which we didn't, and they didn't really establish that setting that well. And I also disagree with Jose. I actually really liked the first 2 episodes, which I think is controversial opinion because a lot of people did not. I actually really enjoyed them, and the show actually started losing me a bit later on. So it could have been a bit more heavy on the teenage angst for me.
Interesting. So we got 2 opposing views already. And, well, for me, I thought the pilot, right, if you ever watch the pilots for most Star Trek shows, they're big, they're flashy, they throw all the money at it, and they're not really representative of what the show will actually be going forward. So when it started with all like the big space battles and like you got Holly Hunter and you got Paul Giamatti and you got Tatiana Maslany, She-Hulk herself, playing the mum, and I'm just like, and you're just watching it going, right, but this is the show about the cadets. We've met one cadet, like, and I just knew that, okay, once it gets going and we get into it, it's going to basically become like Space Harry Potter, is what they kind of, I think, one of the things they were trying to go for. But with like, obviously, older kids who, shag a lot. And again, you didn't even introduce all the cast until the second episode, because that's when Tamina comes into it. And again, yeah, I really liked their like meet cute. I thought it was really good. I mean, they're both very attractive actors, right? They're both very charismatic. So I was like, okay, Sandro Rosta, who plays the main guy, like, he's a big dude.
Dude.
And again, I haven't seen the cast in really anything like before.
No, I really like that this is a fresh cast with just a couple heavy hitters. It really allows them to be able to grow into their characters without any preconceived, like, oh, I know him from this, I know him from that, or whatnot. But yeah, you really believe them for the characters they are.
So, Marie, what was it that you liked then about the first 2 episodes? As we're talking, let's move to the good. What was good then? What did you like about the first 2?
I like that was funny. The first 2 episodes were really funny, and it lost that humor a bit throughout. Like,
well, shit went down later on.
Shit went down, but you still, like, as I said, I am a very casual Trekkie. I do not take Star Trek is stupid. I don't. That's why Lower Decks is like my favorite show. I'm not saying Star Trek is stupid, but the world is it's ridiculous if you think about it. Like a bunch of people running around in really tight clothes. Like everyone is boinking everyone. Like it's ridiculous.
You just described most shows on TV, to be fair.
To be honest, but that's why I like Lower Decks so much. I love I like the humor of Lower Decks, and episodes 1 and like 2, they like what I wasn't on board with 1 until we got onto the Athena and we met Lara, and like I immediately knew like, okay, this person is going to be my one of my favorite characters. Klingon badass.
She's awesome. No, she is a half Klingon, half Jem'Hadar.
Neil with the homework.
I cannot pronounce that second part, so I'm just going to stick to Klingon baddie.
Yeah. Well, no, it's very important because there is a backstory episode for her waiting in the next series.
Oh,
because little bit of lore for you here. The Jem'Hadar were like these genetically engineered soldiers from Deep Space Nine who were fighting in this religious war on the baddest side, and they had like in this blood feud with the Klingons. But because they were engineered, there was only ever male Jem'Hadars. So how is there a half Klingon, half Jem'Hadar hybrid person? That's a story we need to know now. And also, like you say, she's an awesome character, so I really want to see that.
She was just really funny. Like all her line deliveries were just brilliant.
Yeah.
Like they were over the top, they were cheesy. That's what I loved about episodes 1 and 2. Like once the action started, like it was like the action was there, but it was also funny. Like the med bay scene. And just like, don't kill your teacher on day 1. Don't kill your teacher on day 1. Like shit like that was funny.
And she's like, yeah, send me off to the halls. I'm like,
yeah. Or when she like got healed and then she like tapped him on the shoulder and he flew across the room. Like that's like I just wanted a bit more of that. And that's why I enjoyed episodes 1 and 2 so much.
Yeah, so I think for me on the good, the first thing I want to mention is production design and the cinematography is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like this show looks amazingly expensive almost all of the time. Although there is one episode where it looks ropey as fuck, which is going to be in my bad. And I'll mention later.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we have the same one there.
I want to say they even used a drone for some shots, especially in the last episode. I noticed it more specifically. Just like being able to go around the entire room in a scene. That was pretty impressive.
They did take inspiration a lot from J.J. Abrams. There was a lot of lens flares.
Oh, so much lens flares. So much lens flares.
Well,
like
didn't Alex Kurtzman, who's like the current head of Trek, work on those films as well? Wasn't he like the writer?
Rob, I do not know. I do not know.
I think
I would.
I'm not.
Yes, just from what
I'm not 100% on that, but yeah, because apparently, like right before we start recording, that guy is apparently close to signing a new overall deal with Paramount, but that deal will include doing the next 2 seasons of the show as part of his deal, which is cool. One thing I really love as well, Paul Giamatti and Holly Hunter. Like, they are just having fun. So much fun in this.
Oh, yes. So much fun. What is it called? Chewing the Scenery? Paul Giamatti, man.
Paul Giamatti clearly just like, you know what?
He does that. Like
he's like, I want to be a pantomime space pirate. But what I really like about the show is, in the first episode or 2, he's not really shown to be as big a threat as you think he is. It's only in episode 6 hits, and you're like, oh shit. And you get that scene between him and Hunter when you're just like, oh damn, the adults are acting. Like, come on, watch acting, people. This is it.
I just really didn't expect to see as much of him as I thought. Like, I thought he was going to be like Tatiana Maslany, where it's just, okay, we'll throw him in the first episode, and then
maybe see him again at the end.
Yeah.
He was like reoccurring. He was in like 3 or 4 of the episodes, I think. So yeah. And yeah, Holly Hunter, like, I loved her performance. Like, was it Chancellor Ake? She is part Lamphonite, which means she's 400 years old. Okay, cool. I guess I missed that. That must have been something from oh no, it's Carol Kane's character from Star Trek Strange New Worlds is a full Lamphonite. So she's just been around for years and years.
So I don't quite get that, because I mean, not that I don't get it.
Me
I don't
neither,
understand which characters are what, because Whoopi Goldberg in The Next Generation, she lived a long time, but what was she?
She was something different.
She was something different. She was like became like an interstellar being or something like that.
Yeah, there was a lot of that in Next Generation.
Yeah.
And DS9.
Because I remember one episode, like, they knew her from the future, so when they went to the past, they went to connect with her for some reason. I think that was the one where Kirk died.
Spoiler.
Or Spoilers.
Jesus.
I've been doing that lately, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah. But no, what I like about Holly Hunter is that her character, it's almost like you took a hippie from the 60s and give her all this power and authority in what she doesn't want. The fact she doesn't wear shoes, the fact she can't sit on any piece of furniture normally, and so many people were kicking off about it online and hated it. I thought, no, this is brilliant. She's so fucking fun.
I would describe her as the horny bohemian on the show. It's just like
I mean,
you kind
there
of
was
want
Klingon backstory, wasn't there, right?
Yeah, I mean, everyone seems to be hot for Klingon on this show, and like, I also got a vibe off her and the other Chancellor, the one with the tea fetish. I was just like, I was messaging Jose. I'm like, no, there's a vibe here. There's a vibe here. They're going to bang at one point.
I feel like Holly could probably bang anyone on that show if she wanted to. She's just like teasing everyone with her vibe. That's really what's going down.
Yeah, she's just such a fun character. But like I say, when she has that episode with, when she has that face-off with Bracker, it's such an amazing piece of acting because he's doing his whole "I am a villain" monologue. I am Space Pirate Pantomime guy, and it's fun. And you see her; she doesn't say a single word, and you see her posture; it changes. She goes from like relaxed, laying back, and she's just the intensity in her face at the end. Do you know what? It's almost like the TV version of what Jessie Buckley does in Hamnet, where it's all reaction shots and it's all internalized performance, and you're just watching her going, "Holy shit!" And then I think I can't remember what she says, but she either has one line or that she just leaves, and you're like, "Oh, she isn't playing. Like she is
Yeah. And to be
fully
honest,
down with it."
Tatiana Maslany in the last 2 episodes really brought in her acting chops. I even
Oh,
said
no, she's
like
good.
she really elevated the quality of the acting in her 2 episodes. And I'm not trying to discredit anyone else, but she's really brought it with her emotions, in my
Well, we
opinion.
know she's brilliant.
Hmm.
We know she's good. There are some of us who still like She-Hulk.
And I really want to see that show where she played
She-Hulk
5
season
different.
2.
Oh, that too. But more just that show that she played 5 different sisters or
Orphan
clones.
Black.
Orphan Black, yes.
Yeah,
I really want to watch
I've
Orphan
seen the
Black.
start of it. I keep meaning to watch it. It's more than 5, dude. She plays like ridiculous amounts of people in that show, from what I've heard. Right. One other thing I really loved is the college announcements by Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
Yes.
They remind me of the Dean's announcements in Community, and
Yes.
just like that show,
Yes.
they get more deranged as the show goes on. Like episode 9, he's literally telling the kids to not hook up in the Libsyn storage cupboards.
Yeah.
Like, was it episode 10? Cadet Krebs, your Talaxian furfly, has escaped from the lab and is mating with itself.
It's now mating with itself.
I remember hearing one that's like, "Don't forget about your morning wood," because it was about trees. I'm like, yeah.
They're in the background and you don't pay attention onto them until you hear one that's really unhinged. And I didn't realize it until like Jose pointed out and went, "Oh, that's Stephen Colbert." And I went, "Oh my god, it is. I knew that voice sounded familiar."
Yeah.
Well, do you know who voices the computer on the Athena?
No, that's what I was trying to figure it out.
Britt Marling from the OA.
Okay, I don't know her, so I didn't catch her voice then. Is that kind of a fun little tidbit with the OA?
There's not really an OA reference in it.
She's probably just a Trekkie. I mean, that's how the majority of the people end up on this, like on Star Trek when they're massive fans.
I've watched both seasons of the OA. It's brilliant, but I still couldn't tell you what it's about. It has the most insane season 2 ending twist of any show I've ever seen, and then it got fucking cancelled before they could show you where it was going next. And they won't tell you what it is. They've got it planned out, but I think Britt Marling and the creator are trying to get it off Netflix so they can fucking make it somewhere else. And Netflix never let their properties go elsewhere. Now, what I want to talk about is the representation on the show. Come on, my first character I wrote down is Cadet Master Lura Fock, the Klingon Jem'Hadar hybrid. And I've pretty much gone through what I was going to say about her, except, do you notice how subtly her relationship with Tig Notaro's commander Jet Reno's played? Like, it's just like, "Oh, we're going for dinner later tonight."
Like, there's no hints until they say that, and then the only other time.
So subtle it could have almost not been there.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, like Tig is a gay icon. Like so if she wasn't in a relationship, in the same-sex relationship, well, same-sex, different species relationship, Star Trek is confusing that way, I would have rioted. I do like that, like, queerness is just like normal in the show. There's no one that actually reacts at it. I want to say if the Earth is that old, hopefully people have gotten over their bigotry and finally just accepted it. I mean, like, because like as we said, we're not even dealing with different genders here. We're dealing with different species. Like, if anyone has any like bigotry towards that, that would be extremely, I would hopefully say, extremely unrealistic, because like everyone is just boinking everyone.
That's the thing with Star Trek. Star Trek has always been progressive in that way since it first started. They obviously, it was hidden bit more in the subtext in the earlier episodes. Like, people were watching, and go, "Well, that's just an alien," and be like, "No, that's an allegory for this and that and this and that."
Star
And
Trek has
people,
always been queer, like
yeah,
from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Um,
If
like
one thing I noticed that I hadn't seen very easily before is the Klingon. He was wearing a skirt, and I mean, I know that's not a big deal now, but like I remember it being pointed out in the Next Generation, there'd be background characters that would wear skirts that were male, and it kind of was like showing how progressive they were. And I like that now a main character. Yeah, but I like that the Klingon was wearing one. And it seemed like a little like, hey, yeah, this is normal. This is not a big deal.
well, I mean, let's briefly talk, Jaden. You have a non-violent gay Klingon who wants to be a healer, not a warrior.
I like that they focused on that in his own episode, his story arc.
Did he have two dads and a mum? It looked like.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember that. So it was a very open kind
It
of
wasn't, again, it
culture.
wasn't clearly obvious on screen. And then I was reading up reviews, and they said, "Oh yeah, he had two dads and a mum," and it's like, like, so you've got a Klingon polyamorous family going on now. It's like, and again, like you say, Marie, it's just accepted.
with the universe that big and the Klingon population dying out, again, it makes sense.
But it's like you say, it's just accepted in the future. It's not. No one bats an eyelid. So I mean, that was the cool thing, because again, I remember in the original Next Generation, like, Worf has this son who's like a bit of a wimp, and he's like, "You need to be Klingon warrior," and the kid's like, "No, I don't," and that's basically it.
Yeah.
And then it was like him thinking, "Okay, perhaps my son doesn't need to be that; he can just be what he wants to be." I wonder if that was an allegory for it, because I don't think Alexander was ever explicitly mentioned as gay in Next Generation, because, like, that was like the late 80s.
Sorry, now that you mentioned Next Generation, a bit of Star Trek trivia here. Next Gen actually did want to do a episode dealing with queer issues, which was an allegory for the AIDS pandemic, AIDS
Oh.
pandemic at the time, but it got vetoed, and they never went through for it. But even like they just kind of shows like how far back Trek wanted to tackle issues, queer issues, that just kept getting pushed to the sidelines by other people in charge.
Sam, what is Sam, Marie?
She's a hologram.
Yeah, the
I
hologram
mean,
character.
I was like confused. I was really confused about this because I was messaging Jose. I'm like, she's a hologram. How can she be solid? I'm not getting this. Like, what am I missing?
Oh, they have
here?
solid. They have hard light technology. It's a fine.
Yeah,
it's fine,
I just like, because like apparently this was what did you say? Where is the Doctor from originally?
Voyager.
Voyager.
I have
This
no idea
happened
what he's doing in this show.
in Voyager. I mean, he lives forever, so you can just
Yeah.
pop
So
up
Voyager
whenever.
was one of my favorite series. I didn't quite catch the ending, but I watched.
Yeah, I tapped
a lot
out
of
as well.
seasons. No, I went through most of the season. I think I just timing wise, I missed out on the last couple episodes. But I didn't mind seeing the Doctor in this series. It kind of makes sense to try to have another holographic entity. I honestly think that she was a great character, but I feel like they could have done more. Like, I don't think they really showcased her talents until the last 2 episodes.
But that
I
makes
feel they did
sense.
enough.
Yeah, because that made sense, because like I think they did like a really Trek as always it's more of a conversational piece if you think about it. No, that makes me sound douchey, but like addressing things of morality and stuff like that. And the fact that like the reason like she was like suffering and glitching is the fact that she didn't have a childhood and she didn't know how to navigate complex emotions. Dude, that is fucking deep. Like
That was
is
great.
just that is great. And after that, Jose was just like, "Oh, she's being more badass. She's being more assertive." I'm like, "Well, yeah, it makes sense, because she's not just, what was it, 200 days old anymore. She's like actually lived those 17 years and has grown confidence, has grown skill, and like that naivete that she had was gone. It's still not there. It was still there in a way, because she still grew up in isolation with the Doctor on her world.
But again, that was great, wasn't it? Doing like a life in a day kind of thing, and like,
Yeah.
and Star Trek's done similar things over the years where time moves differently on this planet, and then someone's there, and then like a whole lifetime has gone past, and I mean, I've seen loads of shows do that as a as like a good trope, but it's a well done trope here, and it gives the Doctor so much more to do because Robert Picardo's
Oh
brilliant in
yeah,
everything.
I
So
wanted
Yeah.
more of him. Like they
yeah.
could have. I think they could have sprinkled him a little more to lead up to
Do you know what it
him
is,
and
Jose?
his
There
backstory.
was 10 episodes. Old Trek used
Yeah.
to be 22 a year.
Yeah, I know,
22
right?
hours a year of this. So every character gets an episode. Every side character gets an episode. And it's all more or less standalone. You have a little bit of an ongoing arc in the middle of the season, mid-season cliffhanger, and then you move on to the... And it's just... It would be planned out so far in ahead. And it would work. That's why it was so good. I'll tell you one character who could have had a bit more time. He was Darren, who is
Yes,
Fish
English and bi.
boy.
yes, we call him Fish Boy, and he
Fish
was
boy.
not that much of an asshole. They kept pushing that asshole aspect on him. He wasn't like he was arrogant, yes, but
Hey, he's
he
Prince of
cared.
Fish World.
Right, yeah. And I'm like, he's got a lot of responsibilities, and he's actually being nice to the Klingon. Like,
He's
come
so
on.
hot for Klingon. He's
Yeah.
so hot
Yes.
for Klingon.
He
It
wants some
is-
Jaden.
It is like that better pay off in season 2, and it better not be a fucking love triangle because I absolutely despise love triangles. But it is so obvious.
As you mentioned, love triangles, the whole heated Klingonry angle. Because when I watched it, I was like, okay, it's going to be Kyle from War College, right? And then it was Kyle from War
Mhm.
College, but it all happened off screen.
Yeah, see, this is what I mean. It's not a gay thing, a gay show, because all the gay happened off screen. Like, they were just suddenly together, and then Fish Boy was just staring them down angrily.
Yeah, they.
And don't forget when he was his best man at his wedding.
I thought they were gonna do. I mean, this is cheesy, and it's been done before, and Shadowhunters did this actually really well. But I thought this was gonna be like a speak now moment where like he interrupts the wedding and just goes, "You should be with me," but no, it wasn't.
I honestly thought that the wedding would cause a little more of a romantic rift amongst everyone.
Yeah,
You know, it's like,
it was like barely an inconvenience. It just happened.
oh my god, yes.
Then we've got Zoe Steiner, who plays Tamina, the Betazoid character. And I loved her at the start of the show. Like when her intro would come in, and like the chemistry between her and Caleb was really good at the start until shit went sideways. And then I was like,
The thing, yeah, I do agree that first scene, they had the chemistry off the side. The thing is, and I don't think I despise this so much that you could put this in the bad, but Caleb had chemistry with everyone, including
Yeah,
his
true.
mom. Like there's like some scenes.
Put the heads together. It's like, oh,
With their
what are
heads
we gonna do?
together, like we and they were messaging each other. It's like, does it look like they're about to kiss? It kind of does.
Yeah, I'm like,
But
I'm
like,
not
I
that
mean, this was
close with
kind
my
of the
mom.
nature of the show. Like I did like remember putting this in the group chat where it's like, I can honestly not tell you who's gonna hook up with who because everyone is just
Yeah.
vibing with each other, and it's just like this pot of horniness, and it's just. Like, but especially Caleb was like the number one offender, where he was just like sending signals to everyone.
every
When-
person.
When he was like, him and Genesis were together on that like 4-day break, I was like, oh, you better not. And she was actually really good about
Oh, you
asking
mean
about
the
turning on-
Holdovers episode?
yes.
I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit, you've got Paul Giamatti in the show and they're doing the Holdovers episode where they're
Yeah.
the kids left behind for vacation. I was
Yeah.
like, that's nice. I was expecting more references.
Yeah, that would have been funny actually.
Well, there is one actually in the finale, Holdovers reference. A line from the Holdovers reference. When the Doctor gets all garbled and he's saying, don't cross the Rubicon. That's literally what Paul Giamatti says to Dominic Sessa's character when he's running away from him in the gym and he sees the
man.
trampoline. He's like, do not cross the Rubicon.
That's
And he runs and
hilarious.
jumps on it, and then you hear the scream because he like breaks his arm or something.
Yep.
I was like, holy shit, they've literally got his dialogue from that in this show. And that's
funny.
like a line to it. I was like, it's another level of really good writing there. But with Tamina, yeah, I mean, we'll get onto her a little bit in the bad, but she does have a little hint of the Jean Grey about her as well in terms of her powers. Like, we have to dampen her down, and then if she goes full power, she could destroy everyone. One character I wanted to see more of, because they made a big deal out of it, is Lieutenant Yar. And you're like, who's Lieutenant Yar? WWE wrestler and Irish wrestler Becky Lynch was in the show playing the girl with like the short hair, but she barely had any lines and was just like standard bridge crew. But they made such a big deal out of it that beforehand that, oh yeah, she's going to be in the new Star Trek show. I was like, she could have filmed all that in like a day.
I mean, if anything, the good part is you wanted to see more of each character. That like you wanted to get to know them, and like even though a lot of the characters are introduced with surface level personalities, they put in enough that you wanted to see more of them and understand their motivations. Because like I did keep watching, and as much as I probably grumbled to Marie in our messages, like while we were watching, I just wanted to see more of it. I just wanted to see it get better. So
But that's good then.
yeah,
If
totally good, very good.
you're hooked, but you want to see more of it.
Yeah.
One of the things I really also liked as well was the Search for Cisco episode. Because so I don't know if anyone remembers Deep Space Nine. Why are you laughing?
Because me and Jose have something about this. Go ahead, finish, and
Okay.
then I'll clue you in.
So look, I thought it was a nice way to expand Sam's character.
Oh,
It
definitely.
gave us. And now, how familiar are you with the end of Deep Space Nine?
Never seen it, not at all.
Right. So the main character, played by Avery Brooks, Captain Benjamin Sisko, he basically becomes a space prophet and disappears. And everyone's like, okay, allegedly. And you're just like, and it was a kind of thing like everyone's like, so what happened to him at the end? Oh, we don't know. It's basically, it was written by Ronald D. Moore, that show, who did like Battlestar Galactica. So all the religious sci-fi stuff, he was like right there doing it back then. But the cameo is from the actor who plays his son in it, Cyril Lofton. So that's the same actor. And that was I thought that was really cool that it's like a book, but it's a hollow book. So you can, I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really well done.
A book that was never published. And yet,
hey, semantics.
Right
semantics. It even has a voice cameo from Avery Brooks himself, but apparently that wasn't him recording anything new for the show. It was repurposed from something he'd done before, like some old audio album or something.
I couldn't remember if the actor is dead or not. I just assumed
he just quit acting completely. Also, I think he's like pushing like late 70s, early 80s now, I think.
Oh, wow,
and I think after Star Trek, everyone's like, oh, this guy's so good. He could be like the next Samuel L. Jackson. He's got so much charisma. And he just stopped acting.
Wow.
He just stopped.
Okay.
He's almost like, do you know what? That shows my magnum opus. Boom, and I'm done. And it has, did you notice, it had Mariner from Lower Decks in it.
What?
Yeah.
No. Where?
She was the girl, she was the teacher who was telling her all about it. Who was telling
she's the actress.
Sam all about it. The actress, yeah.
Don't mess with me like that.
Not the character.
Yeah, Tawny Newsome, sorry, yeah. Tawny Newsome is in it playing the teacher who lets her know about it. And then at the end, you have to reveal that she actually is the Dax character. So, again, explaining the Dax character. So, in DS9, there is a race of beings called the Trill. And it's like a symbiotic parasite relationship thing, except it doesn't kill you. So, but when your body fails and dies, they do an operation and put the Trill into a new person, and then the Trill has all the previous person's memories and knowledge. And sometimes it's a man, sometimes it's a woman. So they were kind of doing the whole trans thing back then, where this character is a man in one, then they're a woman in the next incarnation. And again, just like in old Trek, no one cared. It was like that was the thing, because the male Dax was a former like Klingon fighter, fans of all the Klingons, and then it turns up as this like young woman, and like immediately like this old Klingon warrior goes like, Dax, let's go drinking, and they go drinking, and it's like there's absolutely nothing about but she's a woman now. And again, this was like mid-90s they did this, and it's just like it was so progressive and well done. But the reveal is she is the same character from the Deep Space Nine in a new body, who actually knew and was really good friends with Cisco. That's how she gets the information from her.
That's how she knew about the tomatoes. And I like how she just bit into a tomato, like to say, yeah, I like things differently.
But also, she wrote the episode. Tawny Newsome wrote the episode. She's one of the writers of this show now. Okay. So
basically what happened was right, like, because we watched this episode together, and then like the episode ended, and then Jose like messaged me going like, Cisco was in the clouds, like Lion King style, and I was just like, no, he wasn't. And at first I was like, was he? I completely missed it. So I went back and watched it, and I saw fuck all. So I was just like, Jose, you're like, there's nothing there. And then
his eyes and his nose and his mouth are in the shape.
Send me. I need to. I'll send it to you.
To the group and put it on the screen.
I'll send it to the group, and because
as you can see,
he sent me this, and it's just like,
I still say it's his face. and we should put a poll up and say, is Cisco in the clouds? That sounds interestingly odd, but I say it's his face in the cloud. It's not like 100% obvious, but it's definitely there.
I am
I
just
don't
quickly
think you're
checking
just looking
this.
at a cloud, man. Like, I don't think so.
Well, did you send the one where I circled his eyes and mouth? Come
Of
on.
course you did, yes.
There's an
Yeah, that.
unaltered version where you can see just the clouds shaping his eyes and mouth and nose.
Anyway, moving on from Jose's
We're-
insaneness.
We'll show another clip. I had to watch like 5 commercials just to get back to it, and then I recorded it wrong, so I don't have no proof of my testimony.
Your Sky Cisco. Okay.
Yes.
All right, Jose. So look, what I want to say, and again, this is kind of like with Strange New Worlds, any good Trek. Each episode changes tone and style to suit what story it wants to tell in terms of genre, and also it focuses generally on a different sort of character as well, and gives more chance to flesh them out. So, episode 1, you set the world, set up most of the characters. Episode 2, you intro the campus and the start of Caleb and Tamina's relationship. Episode 3, it was my first one I really enjoyed, which was the War College versus Starfleet laser tag game, which was just hilarious again. Release the drones! Yes, loved it. Episode 4 is your Jaden episode. So go ahead, mate.
I was gonna say it's laser tag. She's like, this isn't laser tag, it's laser tag, and nothing's gonna ever compare to the Community episodes with the paintball and the cowboys, and they nailed that kind of episode. But yeah, I'll give them credit.
But that was a straight ahead comedy. This was not straight ahead comedy.
They played it for comedy. Come on.
Oh,
it was
totally.
a prank war.
Oh, totally.
They did. They tried.
They won. Episode 4 is a Jaden ep, and we learn his backstory and what happened to the Klingons. Episode 5 is your first Sam ep, and also the DS9 episode. Episode 6 is when shit goes down. Episode 7 is basically Star Trek The Holdovers with Mira and Genesis at college, while everyone else is dealing with trauma. Episode 8 is your Theatre Kids episode with Tilly, spliced with a Doctor and Sam episode and the return of Tamina. Episode 9 goes back into the big stakes of like your kind of big action thing. Oh, you remember that thing we set up at the start of the series? We should probably get back to that for the season end. So, it's like Caleb running off with his friends to find his mum, and Ake going right after them as Brackett unleashes his plan to stop trapped Federation with her mega minds. Episode 10, the trial of the Federation. Sadly, this was mid for me, and I'm going to get into why in the bad. But I really enjoyed Captain Reno, and despite threatening the deaths of 130 billion, I really never felt like the stakes were high enough in this episode. And yeah, finale good, Captain Reno. Now show me pretty streaks of light is just the best out line of any captain. We've had punch it, make it so, and now we got show me pretty streaks of light.
I literally said that's my new favorite way to say go into warp. I was like, show me pretty streaks of light. Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved that.
I also liked in the finale that Anisha, Mir, and Ake both get to punch Bracker in the face. And like Holly Hunter's one doesn't really do much. No, who is it doesn't do the damage? It's Anisha doesn't do much damage, and then Holly Hunter fucking just wails on him. Or is it the other way around?
No, because both, because he said it was weak, but then he still spat out a tooth. So,
exactly. I was like, that's a little bit of contradictory.
I thought one of them hit him, and it didn't really make much effect. Then the other one fucking wallops him, and he's like, a little bit.
I think they both like didn't hold back.
Anisha looked like she hit hard, but he didn't react. But then he spit out the tooth, and then
also it was
Nala hit hard, but he didn't spit out anything. So
and last thing, Marie, did you see I'm sure you did. You had Lura and Reno holding hands in the atrium at the end in the last episode.
Looked a little forced. In my opinion.
It was just like this. It was like not proper hand holding. Like when people hold hands, it's like that.
She is a Jem'Hadar Klingon. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, both characters are a little like stoic. So I feel like to make it a little more interesting, one of them had to be a little more lovey-dovey, and you can't really do that with their background.
That's why they got together.
That's what I like. I completely disagree with this, and then, like, to be honest, I got offended because Jose called Reno monotoned, and I got really offended because thank you, Neil. I sent him that exact face. No, because she's definitely high on the good thing. I mean, I am a big Tig fan. I love her comedy. I've been following her for years, but I did forget that she was in Discovery completely until I checked. So when I saw her in this, I was like, oh. I didn't know she acted. She did comedy. I saw her in Discovery. I completely forgot.
Well, this is one of my goods is that I just kind of went with it. Like when Tilly turns up, I was like, well, wait, isn't this set 800 years in the future since after Discovery? How do you know what? I don't care what happened in Discovery. You set out the burn. That's it. Cool. We're in a post-burn world.
The reason I even wanted to watch Discovery was because apparently there was a huge time jump, and I was curious, but I just was too rough to go through the first season.
Yeah, I
But
quit after season 1, man.
I was about to say I dropped out around midway through season
But
3.
to be honest, give
Oh,
it
wow.
more credits. Discovery was more gay than Starfleet.
Oh, okay.
Because like Discovery had the first like proper openly gay canon character in Star
Nice.
Trek.
Oh, was it the Doctor Anthony Rapp's character?
Ignataro, I am a fan of hers. I really liked her as a smartass.
Too late, Jose.
professor.
Jose. Too late, Jose. Marie.
What it
will
was
just
when the
murder you
last
now.
episode when she's like signing everyone, she's just still like calm and sarcastically toned, and I'm like, this is a very serious situation. It just the tone didn't.
But if
That's
you
her-
think
that's her
about
captain
it, if
style.
you're really that old, you've been through some shit. So you just like things don't really surprise you anymore.
I guess.
And then also, like, I mean, this is, I think, my final good in the list. I have on the list. Like, one thing that I really appreciate about this show was that the adults weren't fucking useless. Because that happens a lot in teen dramas, Stranger Things, where like the kids are just like in moral peril, and the adults are just like la di da and have no idea what's going on. Harry Potter. So one thing that like I really appreciated, like the adults weren't useless, and they were actually like they genuinely showed that they cared for these kids, and they wanted to be like proper teachers, proper role models, proper like guidance, and like that's like why I really like that final scene when like Reno took in charge. I was just like still in the crisis, but she's still trying to attempt to teach these kids. She's still trying to like keep a cool head, and so because even though like these people look full grown adults, they are like meant to be like 17, which I completely forgot about.
No, they're supposed to be in college. This is an academy.
No, they're 17.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You see it in their profile. You see it in their profiles. At least
I don't
Darren,
read
he's
that.
17.
No, that makes so much more sense that there's teenagers, because that I was gonna say this is like a Saved by the Bell kind of like teenage show, not a college show. But that again, that's me getting ahead of myself.
Where it'll probably confirm the ages is I actually really like the ending of the thing
really
where
nice.
it goes to Caleb's cadet's log. You know, because that's the end of most Star Trek shows. You will get the captain's log, commander's log, whoever's log. And I loved the end credits. They were awesome. It was like a high school film, classic high school film where it had every character. Please tell me you'll watch the credits on the last episode.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
The pictures when they were
It's just you didn't react at all, Jose, and I was like, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But it had the star date, then the thing. So I love that with the actors as kids and the class character information. I did like that as well.
Although in the voice notes wasn't the mom like Anisha talking about, oh, you must be 20 years old at this point, Caleb?
Yeah, no, Caleb is like 21, but like the rest of the characters, like because I messaged you this because I was in shock because Darren is definitely 17, because like I think when Sam was reciting the profile before he spits glitter for the first time, the age is there.
Vomits glitter.
Glitter.
That was so fun for me.
Sam is 17 as well. Like,
how old is Tarima?
So, like, I don't know.
That's kind of creepy. Now I'm just like, oh.
I don't think the ages were ever explicitly made.
Yeah.
Explicit.
The only one that was like made specific, but they're meant to be teenagers. That's kind of like the point. They're meant to be teenagers and young adults.
That makes,
because don't forget, this is season 1 of the show, and they're planned to be at the college for 4 years. That's what the arc of the show is supposed to be.
Like their characters in the show that are like 400 years old. Like species age differently, but like the idea is like they're all young adolescents. Like
okay. I'm just saying that main romance could be a little dicey now if she's a little too young.
Jose, even though you've been hinting it for ages, this brings us on to the bad.
Oh, here we go.
Right. Oh my God, calm down.
Kidding.
So first thing I want to bring up is the inconsistency of tone. Look, it had a trouble in the first place. Yeah. It had to balance appealing to a young non-Trek audience while also appealing to the classic Star Trek fans while celebrating its 60th year. So those two things are so diametrically opposed, and I think they did the best job they really could of that.
I think it did suffer a bit of an identity crisis. As you said, like each episode tackled different things, which is fine, but it still needed to have some consistency. And like as I said, the school element, the academy element there, like wasn't there. Like how the school operates makes zero sense. They only have 3 teachers.
3.
Like
Like,
They
where
have
are the
guest
adults?
teachers.
Oh, a guest teacher for an entire semester? Like, this is
yeah.
ridiculous. Like, come on, you have a budget. At least do some guest stars to throw in the rotation. You don't have to throw them in for like an entire episode or
They
even.
did. You had Tilly come in as one episode as a guest teacher.
How long was she even there? It felt like it was maybe a spring break that she's taught that
Not even
play.
that. I think she was there for a day or something like that. No, 2
Like,
weeks because Sam was being raised. Like, so she was there for 2 weeks. Like, because she said she was with the third years, but I was just like, well, if the academy just opened, how can there be third years?
yep.
Like,
Yep.
like
First
that.
class.
Like, I was unless they like she mentioned she like thought it was like the third years of the war college. But
You
still,
are thinking way too much about this small detail.
no.
That
It's Star Trek. We're supposed to
Oh,
to
you're
annoy
not.
people
Not
with the
that. It's just like
technicalities.
if you
I know.
like. I mean, it's the same thing that like I talked about with Alien. Like if you establish a place and a setting, you do need to establish a place in the setting. Like it does need to have rules, especially if it's something like rule driven, like a school.
Yeah, parameters within the show itself should be followed, and it just didn't make sense. It took me a while to make an excuse of that one episode where they were trying to turn on the warp drive of the decommissioned ship, and they're like, "Oh, in 5 years that we've done it, no one's gone beyond 63%." I'm like, 5 years? Who are they talking about? But then I realized, oh, it's probably the War College who's been around for
Yeah,
a while, so that
it was
makes
the
more
war.
sense.
They were referring to the war college. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
But
it honestly, they threw in too much Federation stuff when it really should have been more college and our academy stuff. And I think
yeah, I
more
agree.
angst would have been a lot more like, because there was so much budget for visual effects, and I know this is a Star Trek show, and we have to have excuses to go into space, but I think they could have readjusted it and just bid it on in San Francisco, maybe with futuristic buildings, and kept to that, and had a little more angst, and then have big budget episodes that showed off the
I
space
think they
flights.
did that, Jose. I think they did that. It's just they didn't have enough episodes. That's the
Yeah,
Yeah.
problem.
Oh,
I
that's a
mean,
huge problem. Yeah.
I think, yeah, but they
I
should
agree
have.
with everything you said, but
Yeah,
you need more episodes to do that.
I'm giving them a lot of shout outs, but I generally love the show. Like with Lower Decks, like you do like it's Star Trek, but like it shows that different side of Star Trek, the Lower Decks, like the red shirts, the people that we've never thought about, the like I've mentioned this before, like my one of my favorite like stories is like when like shit is happening, but it's like from the perspective of the background characters, like that one episode of Buffy that's in Xander's perspective while they're fighting the end of the world, and he's just off with his little adventure with the zombie and losing his virginity and stuff like that. Like
The opening scene of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with Groot having his little dance.
Yes.
exactly
Yes.
where where the focus is kind of shifted, and like you like, I mean, you kind of see Starfleet Academy a bit in the first Chris Pine movie, but like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
never spent like quite a lot of time there, so it would have been good to just know how they trained the future of the Federation a bit more, rather than here's some goo that you need to play with. Like,
Dude, the goo that had no lid and is apparently toxic and can kill you. What's
how
going on
did
there?
that
Sorry,
lid
that
come off? I
I'm,
have to admit, I'm with Jose on that one. That did bother me a bit. Like
What
come
about
on.
the warp slug?
the
But
warp
yeah,
slug was
the warp.
cute. I like the warp slug,
I mean,
and that was entirely
fine.
their own fault.
It's yeah, but I mean, here's the other thing is, I didn't want to have to do homework to figure out who these special guest stars are. Like, I kind of recognize them.
No, you did. Like, I mean, Neil, you've
I
already
didn't watch
established this by like
Discovery.
having to explain every single person here,
Yeah,
and the
like
stuff like the
you.
burn and stuff like that. I do
Yeah,
agree
yeah.
with Jose. There was a bit too many callbacks without.
Mhm.
Well, it's that balance, trying to balance 60
Yeah.
years of thing to hook the classic fan,
Yeah, like
and then doing what they
Dax.
want to do.
I mean,
which
when
is,
she pulled her hair back, and I'm like, "What? Why the fuck are we focusing on that?" And then it's like, "Oh, it's a character." I'm like, I'm like, look, I understand it I'm a Marvel fan, and I know that there's
Yeah,
a
but
lot of information out there to take in. So now I kind of understand when people are
arguably,
casual
I'd say
fans.
there's more in there's more in Star Trek than there is in Marvel.
Yeah, and
60
that's what I'm
years of
Yeah.
Star
saying.
Trek.
Well,
Like,
to be honest, like a fair comparison here would be probably Doctor Who. Like,
oh, yeah.
like, and just
What's that? What's that?
you're such
Somewhere
a
Luke
bad
is
Brit,
screaming.
Neil. Neil, and to be honest, Doctor Who hasn't done this perfectly in the past either. But like, if you're thinking about like legacy shows, but there are ways to introduce, like, there's ways to like bring in a character and be a fun throwback to then look at this person, do you know this person, do you know this person, do you know this person, and there's that like fine balance, which I think the show didn't do, and it like relied heavily on legacy characters where you're just like, the fuck is that? So like for new audiences or casual fans, it was very
It was probably
alien.
weighted. It was probably weighted a bit too far.
Yeah,
for fan
too
service.
far.
Yeah.
Like me and
I-
Jose
I'd
were
accept
texting
that.
each other. We're like, "Do you know who that is?" No, I don't know who that is.
Mhm.
Okay.
Like the Cisco episode, like that's a show I could have watched, but I didn't. But like, am I gonna go back and
You lose.
look?
But like the Cisco
Yeah.
episode, I think was like built in quite well because they
It
like
was better.
it
It
kind of
it brought Sam forward.
Mhm.
it brought Sam forward. It also kind of shows that idea how like stories that may have happened in the past over time become myths and legends, and you actually don't know what the true fact is, and how time affects history and stuff like that. Like that was really good because we were not meant to know the answer to that question. And to be honest, to be fair, like I did watch Discovery, so I should have known who Tilly was, but it again completely like I left
Well, there isn't really much explanation. This is one of my minor bads. Like for all the legacy characters turning up in the show,
yeah.
like Reno, Tilly, the Doctor. I mean, they're all welcome, and I enjoy them being in the show. But what even are the timelines of it? I could get hung up on it, and I'm sure people who are much more invested in it than we are know
Yeah.
exactly why, and they could
Or
tell us.
who have
So
finished
drop it in the
Discovery.
comments.
Maybe the answers are
Yeah.
there.
But I was quite happy with it. I was like, we need to know. There's this character in it. I like the character.
Here's what I compare it to, because the most recent show I've watched that's Star Trek related is Strange New Worlds, and
Hmm.
I feel like, yes, I can still tell there's some throwbacks in Strange New Worlds, but it doesn't feel like as shoehorned in as with this show. I felt like, oh, they're really, oh, hey, look, here's a character, and they're putting the camera on her for like a little too long, and I'm like, okay, am I?
That's
And
just because you don't know who they are, Jose.
exactly. So I mean, I feel like in Strange New Worlds, they definitely throw to characters or names or situations, but it's like, and honestly, I'm gonna give it up to Under Decks. That's
Lower
Decks.
Decks.
And
You're going to be under a
honestly-
deck in a minute, Jose. Jesus.
And honestly, I'm going to throw to Lower Decks because that show I really enjoy. I've watched multiple seasons, and I've heard
But
that
that's an out and out comedy.
yes,
it's an
but they're
out-and-out
Yeah,
able
but
to
they
comedy.
do
do
that well
throwback.
with the legacy characters.
They're-
And I
they're
mean, to
able
be
to-
honest,
Yeah.
they're in the advantage of the fact that it's animation, so they don't have to worry about aging.
Yes.
But they do that
They-
really well with the callbacks and references. Jose is like saving me from mentioning Lower Decks.
Yeah, no, honestly, Lower Decks is a great show, and I remember seeing that one floating character in the cartoon that I saw in the first episode of Academy, which I was like, oh, okay, I like that. I'll be honest, that was pretty good because they didn't really emphasize it so much.
One thing I absolutely thought Marie is going to put in her bad, I'm going to try and preempt it, although you kind of mentioned it briefly, but that Jaden and Kyle's relationship took place off screen. And why does the regular hetero relationship get the main focus and all the screen time?
Yeah, Neil, you fucking
Yeah.
lied to me. You said it was gay. It wasn't. Like
It was. It just wasn't on screen.
they better pay it off with Jaden and Fishboy later on. Like it's maybe because they know that's like the end game. They don't want to make Jaden look bad, so they don't want us to get attached to War Academy dude. Like
Kyle. Come on.
War
Kyle.
Academy
It's called
dude.
Kyle.
His ex. He's gonna be his ex eventually.
Do you know what this show would do? I guarantee you this show would do something literally like they come back from college, him and Kyle split up off screen for no reason.
I was
And
going to
then
just
it's
say,
like-
season 2 starts off, oh, I'm so bummed we broke up over the break. And then, boom, they just go into him and Fishboy. Darum. I know his name, Darum, but I'm going to call him Fishboy.
No, Fishboy.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
The Deep Junior.
I mean, if anything, the
Or
biggest...
it, like, I mean, I'm always
Deep
like,
Junior.
I always say the solution to a love triangle is polyamorous. If the three of them start something up, because Fish Boy is also polyamorous, so
Yeah, he is.
like I honestly don't mind that, but no love triangles, please.
Like you say, they do seem to be setting all the kids to hook up with each other at each point. I mean, like you say, Tamina, Caleb, and Genesis at the fringes. It would
Oh
be funny
yeah,
if Genesis ended up hooking up with Tamina, and like Caleb's like, "Hey, what?" Caleb would just go hook up with a teacher or something. No, when
dude.
he'd be single for like 2 seconds.
That one episode where he's just sitting back in the shirt. Even I was like, damn, that guy's jacked. Like shit. I was like, I give him credit, man. It's like he's just shirt off and sunning. And I'm like, damn, okay.
Well, there was it the second episode where they all got teleported out of the showers, and it's like,
Yeah,
this is a
yeah,
really
you're right.
dodgy scene to just put all your young cast in their underwear.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, they're all in their underwear, and he's the naked one because he's older. But now that yeah,
And he has a,
I'm
yeah,
still.
he had a towel.
Here's the thing: is for me, I guess now that we're talking about it, I think the biggest bad is just that there are not enough episodes to flesh everyone out. Like it just
That's fair.
there's so much to mine there. But then again, that's why we're looking forward to two more seasons. So season 2 and
Not
3.
even to flesh everyone out, to like start to keep track. Lara disappeared halfway through the season. Like
Yeah.
like she was gone. I was just like, where is she? Like there's like they make sometimes like comment like the last time like we saw, like we didn't even see her, we heard her in the like holdovers episode on the phone where she's like panicking. That was really funny, like panicking over the fact that Reno might die over the fact that she broke her toe. Like she just disappeared. We didn't see her for like until like the final episode again, where she was there, and again just as a hologram. And I'm like, where did she go?
Yeah, I can notice that there were a bunch of characters that had rotated out of the episodes for one reason or another. Just to, granted they were focusing on one character, so they couldn't have too much screen time for others. But yeah, there's just not a lot of room to breathe with these people.
The brother, like Jose, even pointed out that bless him, he's not even on the poster. Like he's such a
Serena's brother.
non-character.
Yeah. Well, wow, what's his name? I don't even remember his name. He's not even on the cast list that I'm looking at right now.
Of course
Like-
he is. He is Tamina's brother.
But like they made a big deal of him being in the room with rooming with Caleb and Darum, but then they don't even show their interactions after that. Really, not like after the second episode.
Sorry, you reminded me of the bad, those rooms. Like they're so unfair because like one person gets a solo bed to themselves, and then the other two are in this weird bunk bed configuration where you can just need to watch each other sleep. Like that is just not fair, dude. Like two people are getting the short end of the straw here.
Caleb probably just walked in and dropped his bag and was like, mine.
And for those of us who worked on cruise ships, we're like, the room
Oh.
entirely is way too big. There's no way they'd get that much
Yeah,
space.
no way.
Yeah,
like-
I was thinking that exact same thing.
The bunk beds is what you would get, and then like room for a shower. That's about it.
Flashbacks, horrible
Neil's getting,
flashbacks,
like,
Jose.
PTSD.
Back from intergalactic cruise, back to intergalactic cruise ships. So, Marie, what's your main bad then?
That the dialogue was a bit too 21st century for me.
Yes.
I mean, there's like at one point, like the character, like when they used the term "ghosted," I was just like, oh, that's like a very 21st century thing. Like it was a bit too Gen Z. It's really interesting. I actually just read like a book called Algo Speak that talks about the language of the internet and how it's influencing like modern language. And like the book actually argues like the further we get into the future, the less words we're going to use. I don't think that's very
that's
good
terrible.
for a TV show. But so you can make the argument that these words like stuck around and used it, but it just brought me out of the moment. Like it, like the way like they spoke, it was like a bit too. And to be honest, it's sometimes cringy when shows try to predict how future dialogue sounds. And I think the biggest offender here, but that comes to mind that has now become iconic, is Batman Beyond, where I think they tried to
Oh.
coin shui as like the like cool hip things the kids say, and it's
Oh, man.
and I just remember when they like tried to predict how the language of the future sounds, sounds. So like it can go the complete opposite way where it's like completely cringy. But I did think that word. I thought the dialogue sounded a little bit too 21st century.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. My main bad, unfortunately, is the finale
Oh.
for so many reasons. So I enjoyed it at a surface level, and I thought it was a good capper to the season. Like I liked the very end of it. I just didn't like how they got there. Like I mentioned earlier on, you have the threat of 130 billion people being threatened with death, and it just felt low stakes because we didn't see any. You know, like Star Wars does it, and you have a cut to a. You have a shot of a world, then you have a shot of some people looking at the sky, looking worried. That's what you kind of needed to,
Yeah.
move around the world and have a thing. But also, with the second season has been filmed and it's in the bag completely.
Oh wow.
Why didn't they do a cliffhanger? You could have done a cliffhanger knowing that there's a second season.
Yeah.
Instead, they resolved everything. I was like, shit, are we getting one? And I quickly Googled, I was like, oh, good, it's in the can. And yeah, as great as Giamatti was in the earlier episodes, and especially in episode 6, he was bad in the finale. He was like a bargain basement Q. Jose, you know who Q is, right?
Yes.
John
yes.
Delancey's character.
I
from
know
it.
who Q is.
Yay!
I get that
I
reference.
mean, come on, literally, yeah.
Okay.
His plan doesn't work because his detonator doesn't work. And really, the trial location, it looks like utter crap. Some abandoned space mall with the worst graffiti of all time.
No, it was
It
their
just-
atrium,
that
wasn't
was
it?
That was the atrium of the Academy
Yeah, they had to save
that
on.
they
Was it?
trashed.
Yeah,
It was the
I
they
didn't
same.
had
even notice that.
graffitied
I thought
it.
it-
and-
They were on the Athena. That's the atrium of
Oh,
the
the
Athena.
ship. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
really-
even
yeah.
recognize it.
Yeah, it wasn't. They,
I
they
mean, to
really
be honest,
I
were
watched-
that's not
recycling
to
too
the
much.
show's credit. That's not a downfall to the show. That's just like your very low observational skills there.
I also watched this week to week, weeks ago when it finished, and you two have literally finished watching it about an hour, about 10 seconds before we started hitting record.
But it's still very obvious it's the same set. But anyway,
So
Get it
also,
together,
my-
Neil.
to
Jeez.
be honest,
Shut your face.
what I thought is did they trash it that quickly? Because like it was
Yeah, right.
extremely trashed.
I think they were trying to make it look like they did that, because then imagine if it was just in pristine situation they were doing the trial there. Like, it wouldn't have been as fun.
have you ever? So Jose, have you ever seen the first and last episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation?
No, actually, I don't think I have.
Well, I'm
Not
going to
like-
ruin those for you now. So
Okay.
because it makes my
Spoilers.
point. Spoilers. So in the very first episode of Star Trek: Next Generation, Q, John Delancey's character, turns up, and he puts the Federation and all of humanity. Sorry, not the Federation. He puts Earth, I think, and all of humanity on trial because he believes we're a savage race who will destroy everything, and
Oh.
therefore he can like just click his fingers because he's like a god mode guy. And then
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart's like, "No, give us a chance." He's like, "Okay then." And the finale, 7 years later, after 22 episodes a season, is him turning up again. And they do this really cool thing where Patrick Stewart's like, he's retired, he's living on a farm in France, and he starts having flashbacks. And it turns out the trial never ended. The whole thing was the trial, and they've
Wow.
decided no. And he has to, and he's literally jumping. It's almost like him dealing with Alzheimer's because he's jumping between 3 different time periods and trying to piece the story
Yeah.
together to explain
Yeah.
it.
I do
And it's
remember that.
really well done. It's really, really, really well done. The villain, shall we say, wants to put Earth/the Federation on trial. And in this one, it's just like, oh yeah, I want to put the Federation on trial for being crap. Yeah, we know they're crap. They literally barely exist at this point. What are you trying to achieve? Like, and you've done your whole thing with the mines. Cool. But you just want to leave them there. Why wouldn't you? Because, I guess he doesn't want to kill 130 billion people, but then why threaten it if you're not going to follow through, right? You know,
Yeah.
not that intergalactic genocide should be, encouraged, but
And the force field that they showed when they panned out, I'm like, that looked barely like the size of a planet.
and here's a problem as well. Like we both said, the season starts off. Well, I mean, Marie actually liked it more than I think you and me did. The first episode is always big, flashy. It feels like a film, and the last episode of each season is usually big, flashy, feels like a film. And the finale I struggled with finale for me because the focus of most of the season was largely on the cadets. And then the adult storyline and Caleb's kind of took over it and it sidelined them all. They're literally just all on the bridge of the ship. Right, you're science guy. Right, you're pilot guy. Right, you're, Genesis gets to sit in the captain's chair. Although that was the best line of the whole thing, she goes, but I need to pee first. And then there was a cut to an advert. I was
Yeah.
like, yes, you win the episode there with the line. And then Caleb's Federation propaganda speech, I was literally cheering along with Nat Bruck. I was like, yes, that was a bullshit speech. Really? You're buying that horse Federation horseshit? Really?
Yeah, it seemed
And then,
very
and
forced.
also, and then Mother She-Hulk suddenly okay with it. Like, wait, no, she needs to be. You need longer to get through that. I'm sorry. I don't believe she just like, here's her son give a speech. She's like, okay, I'm good with it now.
I have to say, I did like the line, though, how cheesy it was when he said, "I never knew I could laugh like that." I think if like just because he never got a
But
chance.
he's a good actor. He sells it well.
He sells it well, but also like the context, he never got the chance to be a kid, and that's why also I wish they showed the academy part a bit more, showing him being a kid, showing him being a student, showing him like we had like one prank war, but I wanted that more student experience where I think like his argument shouldn't be like the Federation is good. He's like, they gave me a chance to actually have a childhood. They gave me a chance to
21-year-old childhood.
I mean, if you just grew up in slums and stuff like that, I mean, like
He might not even know his birthday.
like
Oh, he was old enough to know when he was taken away from his mom.
6, yeah. But anyway, I did like that part of the speech, but in general, like I do agree with you with Neil. Like it focused on all the wrong things.
Yeah. I mean, so this brings us on to our what the fuck moments. Jose, what is your what the fuck from this series?
You know, it's funny. This is probably most random what the fuck I've probably ever come up with.
Is it a Talaxian Furfy mating with itself?
It's not. It's more like what the fuck. I actually like this show.
Yay!
Yeah,
Victory!
It started off poorly, in my opinion, and to be honest, there's a lot of flaws. And I probably did complain a little too much to Marie while we were watching. And
say it with me, Jose.
But
you enjoyed it and it was fun.
Yes, at the end of the day, especially now that we're talking about it, I'm realizing it was a good show, and I would definitely recommend it because it is what Star Trek is supposed to be about: is acceptance and growth, and trials and struggles. At the end of the day, I was entertained, so
Twist.
I can't complain. Yeah, I know, right? It's like it was kind of like in a different version of Severance, like where Severance just really paid off in the end. But with this, it just I grew with the characters. I enjoyed them, and to be honest, like there were some really beautiful moments for me in the show, with Tareem and with Jay Dan. I keep forgetting their names, but like there really were some moments. They're probably not really well deserved as much as I'd like. In the end, it became a show that I enjoyed, and I was a little surprised thinking that halfway through even I wasn't expecting to really enjoy it as much as I did, but the characters I just grew with them, and I really want to see where they end up going.
Fish Boy Freeway, that's where it's going. Marie,
It better.
What is your what the fuck?
Okay, I've got 2. The first one is episode 8 because it actually made me cry.
Episode 8 is
the play.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The play, the discussion of life and childhood and stuff like that. It I think that
therapy
was
and trauma. Should have seen that coming.
Exactly. It's so yeah, that one actually like did make me tear up a bit. I think it was the highlight of the season, that episode. I think it was really well done. It also like represented everything that Trek was
and should be.
And then my other one is just the general negative response the show has received. Like I think it's like I'm
Basement Dwellers, eat a dick.
I don't think it's. I'm not saying this is a flawless show by all means.
No.
We I think pointed out quite a lot of flaws, but like I think on IMDb it's like a 4.4. Like I think that's really low considering what that show is. Same with Rotten Tomatoes; it has a quite low Rotten Tomato score, although the critical response is a lot higher.
I honestly think they should just stop having these kind of people who can vote and the votes can always be thing as a metric of a show success. It's stupid. If people are, it doesn't truly reflect how good a show is. And yeah, in the States, loads of people, I saw loads of people slagging the show and, oh, this isn't Trek. Trek should be manly men doing stuff. I'm like, dudes, you're missing the point of Trek completely. Like, so completely.
When you say manly men, Neil, you need a photo of Sulu fencing shirtless. When you say that,
Oh.
edit that in.
Oh.
Okay.
Did you mean to do the Sulu then, Jose? Or was that just your regular hey?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, so that was your
Oh
regular one.
my!
That was my regular
Oh
one.
my!
Oh, because he's like, oh
I
my.
thought he was doing a bit.
That's how. Yeah.
When they were looking at like streaming charts and outside of America,
Mm-hmm.
where the noise is the loudest, it was number one in all these other countries.
Wow.
Number one across Europe. Most watched show on Paramount Plus.
Wow, I'm glad to hear that.
So,
I mean,
Is
we've
it-
kind of established that Paramount Plus does not have a lot to offer, but
that Stallone show's good that's on there. And Yellow Jackets, that's about it. Well, my what the fuck was episode 6. Because that was the episode where shit got real. And
Yeah.
it was just so shot. Because like everything was like, you start off with your dramatic space stuff and things for the season in the first 2 episodes. And then it just become the kids having fun at college. And like there was all the rivalry between, the War College and Starfleet. And it was fun. And then you're like, okay, this is going to be on the ship. And then fucking space cannibals turn up. Dude, I was like,
Yeah.
are we in Reaver's territory from Firefly here?
Firefly, I have that episode labeled as the Firefly episode.
Yeah. And like their masks were creepy as fuck as well, like they're vibrating things. And
Dude, yeah, that was
they
really
were.
good.
That
That
was
was
like
really
this episode was brutal. And like when you see Commander Redshirt, I was like, dude, you're so dead. You're like the first one getting murdered and thrown out the airlock or eaten.
Yeah,
and
he's
he
looking
Oh,
forward
a
to extra
character
leave
that we've
time.
never seen before, of course. Like,
Finally, another instructor. Oh, he's dead.
He's
I
like,
think he
so gonna
also
die.
did the whole like I'm like 1 month away from retirement thing. Like he
Yeah.
was just like I haven't been off this ship in 6 months, like stuff like that. We're just
Oh,
like, oh
boy.
no.
You're
Yeah.
so dead. But then Bavel dies.
You know what? Look,
And it was such a
I
shock. I was
don't
like,
think it was earned. It's sad that it happened, but I'm like, we barely knew him, and it was just as an annoying guy. And even during that episode, I'm like,
no, but they were starting
okay.
to work together in that episode.
That's what I liked. I wanted more.
And so that's why he had to die. Because they're like, oh shit, it could have been us. And also, that's the episode where we learn Ake's backstory and how she chose her duty to the crew over trying to save her own son as Bracker throws that back in her face. And that's like what I mentioned earlier in The Good, is that scene is just immense.
Oh yeah.
My note at the time said, more Ake and Bracker scenes, please. Unfortunately, it didn't work as well in the finale. But yeah. What do we want then from season 2 of the show? What happens in the second year at Starfleet Academy?
I love Triangle. No, I'm lying. That's the worst thing. I want Caleb and Tarima to really have a positive relationship. Because the one thing, like, there was, I forget what episode, it was the beginning of when they were having sex. And then I
6.
knew, in episode 6,
It was 6.
and I'm like,
Six.
they're
a
too
bit
happy.
Too quickly, but
And I was like, they're too happy. There's going to be
That was
something.
steamy for Star Wars, man, wasn't it?
Oh,
That
hell
was like-
yeah.
Star Trek, Neil.
It was
Neil,
steamy for
Star
Star
Trek.
That was steamy for Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Wars. But like immediately I knew it was too good, so I was like, oh, something stupid's gonna happen and they're gonna get in an argument. But I didn't realize it was gonna happen in the first 5 minutes. And so I was just like, oh, then we have to go through this again. And
She
it's
did
like,
unintentionally
unintentionally. She apologized and he was still a dick about it. So I
Oh,
mean,
like
granted,
Jose and I, we argued about this as well. Well, I still say it was an invasion of privacy because he said no, don't, and she reached for the bear anyway.
oh my
like,
god, reach for the bear. Don't touch the
She
bear that's
did!
randomly in this memory of how would she know?
because it's
She
not her
doesn't
memory,
know.
so why would you reach for it? It's like she no, it wasn't. I still maintain it was an invasion of privacy. He was rightfully
look,
pissed.
And then, like, yeah, he's rightfully pissed. And then once he calmed down, he got over it pretty quickly. And then,
And then they stretched it out for 3 or 4 episodes of like not talking to her. It's like, come on.
well, she had to go like 10% Jean Grey, didn't she? And
Right, yeah. I mean, that was
I can't be
pretty
around
cool.
people.
But my thing is, they're basically royalty, and they're slumming it in with the rooms that are already occupied by 2 other people. I'm like,
Well, Fishboy's royalty.
yeah, exactly.
Serena's like the daughter of the president of
And
Beta
like,
Z.
why are you guys putting so many people in these rooms? You have not space. It's like, yeah, again, this is just me not happy with certain things, but overall, like I said, good show.
Jose's big problem with the show was the room situation. Okay.
Drama,
That's-
PTSD. No.
Yes.
Speaking so much shagging, I'd like to see more in the next season. of Star Trek Academy. Because
And here comes Thirsty Jose back.
Yeah,
this is
like,
what
we
this
forgot
show
about
is
They're
the
about.
teenagers, Jose. They are 17. You
And you're
pervert.
saying teenagers don't shag? I think they do. I mean, granted, like you said, the first scene was like, whoa, this is Star Trek. They're showing a lot of skin. But I think that's what this show is about. It's young angst and
Star Trek
romance.
Euphoria.
Exactly. Honestly, I think it has a potential. Well, okay, it's not going to go Euphoria deep because that's crazy. But yeah, I think there should be more romance laced storylines.
Well, you know what we're going to get in season 2, right? We're going to get more classic characters cameoing again, which I'm fine with as long as it's just a cameo.
I just want more.
Hopefully,
more
ones
professors.
you recognize this time, Jose.
I want more professors that are tenured, so we have like a consistent staff. That's what
Professor
I
Professorson.
Professor.
Like I said, we are obviously building to Jaden and Darren, and don't feel sorry for Kyle. It's going to happen off screen.
Yes.
Genesis is definitely going to get involved between Tamina and Caleb. It's just it's classic teen tropes. It's just how they handle it.
It's still gonna happen.
You need that mix of classic teen relationship drama and classic Trek, though.
Is Sam gonna hook up with anyone? Do we think she's gonna have
That
a
was my next
relationship?
note. I was like, yeah, what about Sam, man? She's literally like the only one of her race there.
I think it's fine. You know what?
They should
She
go
could
Bride of
be
Frankenstein, where she like
ace.
makes a oh no.
I
that'd
was
be
about to say,
ridiculous.
Jose, I genuinely, I do think she's asexual. Like, she's not a romantic because she wants to fall in love, but the way she was describing like human hormones, like what was the line? Like when she asked them,
Oh,
like,
that was
"Are you
early
afraid
on.
to have sex?" or something like that, or like where she asked them like a very like out of the blue,
Very straightforward question.
straightforward question, and they like didn't understand like what's the big deal. Like, that is, yeah, I mean, that's both neurodivergence and asexuality there. So I do think like
That was it. Yeah, I think she was that character was kind of trying to embody some elements of that, wasn't she?
trying to understand how to be human. Yes, that is very neurodivergent. Like sometimes I say that about myself, where it's just like things that seem obvious to other people aren't obvious to myself. So yeah, I do think she's possibly asexual. So yeah, I'm curious how that's gonna progress. But yeah, like, it would be nice to see an asexual romance happening, because we still don't have a lot of those. Like, because she did say she wanted to experience love.
That is on your tick list, isn't it? If a show does that, then Marie
I
will be
mean,
watching.
Yeah, I mean, if there's ace representation, and no matter how shit the show was, well, no, it depends if it's good, because, for example, Sex Education's final season, that was terrible asexual representation. Like, I mean, I commend the effort, but even the asexual,
They were just trying to tick every box
they
in
were
that last
trying to
season,
tick
weren't they?
every box. And I mean, now we're going on a rant here, but I do know actually the person, like she's a very prominent person on social media, who was the consultant for that character, and she was like, yeah, they just ignored everything that I said, and like,
damn.
all the context that I provided for the character was left out and cut for time. So anyway,
Well, I believe that brings us to a close on our Starfleet Academy. We're going to be back in college, Space College, really soon, because season 2's in the can. Marie wants more heated Klingon read, and to actually see it this time,
yeah, it's Fishboy and
Jaden.
yeah, Fishboy and
Klingon.
Jaden. Come on,
Jaden.
And to be honest, if we're talking cameos, like, let's throw Jack Quaid in there. Like, come on.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. I don't
Done,
know
that's
the
it.
timeline, but that would be fun.
Well, because he could be any character.
He could
That's
be any
brilliant.
character.
Yeah. Marie wins fan
the
casting
actor,
for
huh?
season 2. Well, that is all the time we have on this week's episode of the We Needed Roads podcast. Marie was annoyed it wasn't gay enough, and Jose wanted more teen skin. Say what you will about that.
Oh,
I'd like to
damn it.
think my I'd like to think my fellow space cadets today. Jose, where can people find you online? Which is probably not a thing you want now after that comment.
My personal Instagram is at a Spanish Joe. My photography Instagram, which I've been pushing a little bit more lately, is at Jose Lopez Photos, and my website is currently down. So let's cut
Don't
that
go
part.
there.
Yeah. My website is www.jlopezphotos.com for when it works. There you go.
Anne-Marie, where can people find you online?
You can find me underneath the handle Life on Mars. That is TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram.
And if you want more We Needed Roads nonsense, you can find us everywhere. We're on Twitter at Needed Roads, we're on Instagram at We Needed Roads, and we're on TikTok at We Needed Roads Podcast. And you can follow me personally at Neil_Gregory78 on Instagram and Threads. And guys, Threads is where all the engagement is. Our fellow co-host Luke literally was like, I'm thinking about getting off Twitter because literally no one sees anything. And then I showed him my stats from Threads. 2 posts on Threads, and I was like, people just interact. It's my favorite echo chamber of film people at the minute. Oh, and Substack. Substack is kicking ass at the minute. People are loving Substack. So you can find us on Substack as well. And We Needed Roads is available on all major podcast platforms. We'd love it if you subscribe to us on YouTube and gave us a follow on Spotify, where you can see the full video episodes as well as hear us. And tell us, were you fans of this latest incarnation of Star Trek? Or did this mix of YA drama and classic Trek tropes make you boldly move away from the TV? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, I leave you with one of my favourite quotes of the season, which happens every time we add someone to this podcast. Great, now I have to keep 2 more of you alive.
We Needed Roads.